You think you know Tears of the Kingdom. You've beaten Ganondorf, explored the depths, built your share of flying machines, and maybe even found all 152 shrines. But here's the thing. TOTK is so dense with secrets, hidden mechanics, obscure details, and deliberately unexplained systems that even players with hundreds of hours have barely scratched the surface. Nintendo packed this game with Easter eggs, references, hidden interactions, and design details that most players will never discover organically. Today, we're diving into 26 facts about Tears of the Kingdom that will completely change how you see the game, revealing hidden depths, secret mechanics, and details so obscure that even the most dedicated players might have missed them. Let's get started. Fact 1. The Depths map is an inverted surface map. This might seem obvious once you know it, but it's easy to miss. The depths are a perfect inverse of the surface world. Every mountain on the surface becomes a chasm in the depths. Every valley becomes a plateau. The geography is literally flipped, which means you can use your knowledge of surface Hyrule to navigate underground. Found a tall mountain? There's a deep chasm directly below it in the depths. See a low valley? That's a high plateau underground. But here's the detail most players miss. Light routes in the depths correspond exactly to shrine locations on the surface. They're in the exact same positions, just inverted. Even better, light routes have names that are shrine names spelled backwards. Find the Sepa Sepa shrine on the surface, and directly below it in the depths, you'll find the Appa Appa's light route. This isn't just a neat detail, it's a navigation tool. Struggling to find a shrine on the surface? Go to the depths, find its corresponding light route, and you'll know exactly where to search above. Fact 2. Horses remember you from Breath of the Wild. If you played Breath of the Wild and transferred your save data to your Switch before playing TOTK, something magical happens at stables. Your horses from BOTW are registered in the system, waiting for you. The game acknowledges that these are the same horses you bonded with years ago, and they're still there, still loyal, still remembering the adventures you shared. This is more than just save data transfer, it's Nintendo acknowledging the passage of time and the continuity between games. Your bond with Epona or your favorite horse carries over, making TOTK feel like a true continuation rather than a reboot. It's a small detail that dramatically increases emotional investment for returning players. Fact 3. Kilton and Koltin are brothers. Remember Kilton from Breath of the Wild, the monster-obsessed merchant who wanted to look like a monster? His brother, Koltin, appears in TOTK, and he's taken the monster obsession to the logical extreme. Koltin is actively transforming into a Satori, collecting bubble gems to complete his transformation. If you complete his questline, he literally becomes a Satori and disappears into the wilderness. But here's the detail that makes this heartbreaking. Kilton is searching for his brother throughout the game. He knows Koltin is transforming, and he's trying to stop it, but he's always one step behind. The tragic irony is that if you help Koltin complete his transformation, you're helping him abandon his family to become a monster. It's a surprisingly dark subplot hidden in an optional questline most players never complete. Fact 4. You can ride the dragons. Everyone knows you can land on dragons and harvest materials from them, but did you know you can actually ride them for extended periods and use them as transportation? Dragons follow set paths across Hyrule, and if you land on them with enough stamina food, you can ride them across vast distances, enjoying the incredible views and unique experience of dragonback travel. Each dragon has a different route. Pharos circles through Faron and Lake Hylia, Naydra patrols the Lanayru region, Dinral flies around Eldin and Death Mountain, and the light dragon, well, that's Zelda, and riding her takes on additional emotional weight once you know her identity. Dragon riding isn't just practical transportation, it's one of TOTK's most peaceful and beautiful experiences that most players never fully explore. Fact 5. The Yiga clan has a massive underground base. Most players encounter scattered Yiga clan members throughout Hyrule and think that's the extent of their presence. Wrong. Deep in the depths, the Yiga clan has established multiple massive bases, complete with training facilities, supply depots, and even a vehicle test track. These bases are fully explorable and contain unique enemies, valuable resources, and lore about what the Yiga have been doing since Breath of the Wild. The main Yiga hideout in the depths is enormous, with multiple floors, dozens of Yiga members, and a boss fight against Master Koga that's actually challenging. But here's the kicker, the Yiga bases also contain Zonai device dispensers and auto-build schematics that you can't find anywhere else. If you're serious about mastering vehicle construction, you need to infiltrate Yiga bases and steal their technology. The game never tells you this. Fact 6. Autobuild remembers everything you've ever made. The Autobuild ability isn't just for rebuilding machines you've deliberately saved, it stores every single creation you've ever made, even accidental constructions, one-time solutions, and things you built and immediately destroyed. Open your Autobuild history, and you'll find dozens or hundreds of creations you don't remember making. This has a practical application. If you once built a perfect solution to a problem and then forgot about it, Autobuild remembers. Struggling with a shrine puzzle? Check your history. You might have already built the solution weeks ago. The game is essentially creating a personal library of every solution you've ever conceived, which becomes incredibly valuable once you realize you can search through it. Fact 7. Koroks are trying to reach each other. The Korok carrying puzzles where you find a Korok trying to reach their friend aren't random. These Koroks are trying to reunite with specific partners scattered across Hyrule. You're not just solving puzzles for seeds, you're reuniting families and friends torn apart by catastrophe. It adds unexpected emotional weight to what seems like a simple collectathon mechanic. Fact 8. Every sage has a secret legendary weapon. After awakening the 5 sages, you can find their legendary weapons hidden in the depths. These aren't just any weapons, they're powerful, unique arms that belong to the ancient sages. Riju's lightning helm location hints at the dusk bow, Yunobo's connection reveals the boulder breaker location, Sidon's quest points toward the light-scaled trident, and so on. But here's what most players miss. These weapons can be reforged infinitely if you have the right materials. Unlike normal weapons that break permanently, sage weapons can be recreated by specific NPCs once you've found them initially. This makes them some of the best weapons in the game for players who know where to look and who to talk to. The game never explicitly tells you this is possible, you have to discover it through NPC dialogue and experimentation. Fact 9. The Bargainer statues tell a complete story about the depths, the ancient past, and what happened to the civilizations that once lived underground. The statues remember the time before the upheaval, when the depths weren't dark and dangerous. They remember the people who lived there, the cities that existed, and the catastrophe that destroyed everything. They're not just merchants, they're ancient witnesses to events that predate even the Zonai civilization. Their dialogue creates a rich backstory for the depths that completely reframes them from random underground areas to the ruins of something magnificent that was lost. Fact 10. Satori Mountain has a secret at every blood moon. Most players know Satori, the Lord of the Mountain, appears at Satori Mountain. But did you know that during blood moons, something special happens at the mountain's peak? If you visit the cherry blossom tree at the summit during a blood moon, you'll witness a unique event involving spirits and will-o-wisps that doesn't occur at any other time. This isn't just visual spectacle. Visiting Satori Mountain during blood moons allows you to collect rare materials and interact with spirits in ways that aren't possible during normal nights. The mountain becomes a spirit gathering place, and if you're patient and observant, you can learn about Hyrule's spiritual side that the main quest never addresses. Fact 11. Caves have unique completion rewards. TOTK has 147 caves scattered across Hyrule, and most players explore a few, but don't realize there's a completion mechanic. If you fully explore a cave, find all bubble gems, defeat all enemies, open all chests, and discover all secrets, the cave's icon on your map changes to indicate completion. But here's the reward nobody talks about. A specific NPC in each region tracks cave completion and offers unique rewards for exploring all caves in their area. Complete all caves in a region, and you'll receive rare armor, upgrade materials, and even unique weapon types. The game never tells you this exists, so most players explore caves randomly without realizing there's a structured reward system encouraging complete exploration. Fact 14. Enemy camps respawn with better loot. You probably noticed that enemy camps respawn after blood moons, but did you know that the loot quality improves based on how many comps you've cleared?
The game tracks your combat progress, and as you defeat more enemies, future enemy camps spawn with better weapons, more valuable materials, and higher-tier equipment. This creates a hidden progression system where combat becomes more rewarding over time. Early game camps drop basic weapons, but late game camps, after you've proven yourself by clearing hundreds of enemy locations, drop rare and powerful equipment. The game is dynamically adjusting loot tables based on your accomplishments without ever telling you this is happening. Fact 13. Shrines have hidden challenge modifiers. Some shrines have hidden challenge modifiers that change how they function. If you complete certain shrines without using specific abilities or by taking alternative routes, you'll receive bonus chests that don't appear during standard completions. The game never indicates these challenges exist. You have to discover them through experimentation or careful observation of shrine design. For example, some combat shrines have hidden time trial challenges. Complete them fast enough and additional chests appear. Some puzzle shrines have intended solutions and cheese solutions, and the game actually rewards you differently depending on which approach you use. This adds massive replay value to shrines for players who want to master them completely rather than just grabbing the blessing and leaving. Fact 14. The Coliseums are connected to lineals. The 3 Coliseums in TOTK, Surface, Sky, and Depths, are more than just combat arenas. They're part of a quest line that nobody realizes is a quest line. Each Coliseum contains progressively harder lineal variants, and defeating all 3 in sequence unlocks special dialogue with specific NPCs who recognize your accomplishment. But here's the secret. If you defeat all lineals in all Coliseums without taking damage, using only specific weapon types, or under self-imposed challenges, certain NPCs will acknowledge it and offer unique rewards. The game is tracking your combat accomplishments in ways that aren't obvious, rewarding skilled players with hidden content that casual players never discover. Fact 15. Gleeoks have weakness patterns based on elements. King Gleeoks, the 3-headed dragons, seem impossibly difficult until you understand their weakness system. Each head corresponds to an element, and using the opposite element creates massive damage multipliers. Fire Gleeoks are weak to ice, Ice Gleeoks are weak to fire, and Lightning Gleeoks are weak to both. But the real secret is the stun mechanic. If you destroy all 3 heads simultaneously or within seconds of each other, the Gleeok enters an extended vulnerability state where it takes triple damage. This transforms Gleeoks from hour-long endurance fights into manageable encounters if you understand the system. The game never explains this, and most players struggle through these fights without realizing there's a specific strategy that trivializes them. Fact 16. Poes guide you to secret locations. Poes, the blue spirits you collect in the depths, aren't just currency. Their placement isn't random. They form paths that lead to secret locations, rare materials, and hidden bosses. If you follow concentrated Poe trails rather than just grabbing them randomly, they'll guide you to content you'd never find otherwise. Some Poe paths lead to ancient structures, others to rare enemy encounters, and some lead to hidden light routes or valuable resource deposits. The depths become less intimidating once you realize Poes are essentially a navigation system showing you where important content exists in the overwhelming darkness. Fact 18. Zonai devices have hidden fusion properties. Most players know you can fuse Zonai devices to weapons and shields, but few understand the hidden properties this creates. Fusing specific devices create unique effects that aren't explained anywhere in the game. Fuse a rocket to a shield and you can shield surf at incredible speeds and launch into the air. Fuse a spring to a weapon and it bounces enemies away while dealing damage. But here's the deep cut. Some device fusions create elemental effects or status effects that don't make logical sense but work mechanically. Experiment with every combination and you'll discover weapon behaviors that seem unintended but are actually fully programmed features that Nintendo hid for players to discover. Fact 19. Armor sets have hidden set bonuses. Beyond the displayed set bonuses, some armor sets have hidden properties that activate under specific conditions. Wearing full barbarian armor during blood moons increases damage beyond the listed bonus. The stealth set makes you completely invisible to certain enemy types even when moving if you're in shadows. The climbing set reduces stamina consumption beyond what's listed when it's raining. These hidden bonuses aren't bugs, they're intentional design decisions that reward players who experiment with armor in different contexts. The game wants you to discover through experimentation rather than reading stat descriptions, creating aha moments when you realize armor does more than advertised. Fact 19. The captured memories are non-linear by design. The dragon tears that show Zelda's past can be found in any order, and this isn't an oversight. Nintendo deliberately designed the memory system to allow non-linear discovery because they want different players to experience the story in different orders and reach different conclusions about what happened. Finding the memories chronologically creates one emotional journey. Finding them backwards creates dramatic irony where you know outcomes before causes.
Finding them randomly creates a puzzle where you piece together timeline. This narrative flexibility is intentional, and your memory discovery order genuinely changes how you interpret and feel about the story. Fact 20. Wells are actually mini-dungeons. The wells scattered across Hyrule seem like simple diving spots for quick chests, but they're actually mini-dungeons with their own puzzles, challenges, and rewards. Each well has multiple chambers, hidden paths, and secrets that require careful exploration to find. More importantly, wells contain unique materials and treasures that don't spawn anywhere else in the game. Specific armor pieces, rare gems, and quest items are hidden in wells that most players dive into once, grab the obvious chest, and leave. Fully exploring every well is required for true completion and provides rewards that make the time investment worthwhile. Fact 21. There are exactly 1,000 Koroks, and they form a pattern. TOTK has 1,000 Korok seeds, matching BOTYB's count, but unlike BOTYB, where Koroks were scattered somewhat randomly, TOTK's Koroks follow geographical and mathematical patterns. They're positioned based on terrain features, distance from landmarks, and geometric relationships that make them findable through logical deduction rather than random searching. Some players have mapped Korok positions and discovered they form sacred geometry patterns, align with ancient Zonai structures, and cluster around historically significant locations. The Koroks aren't random collectibles. They're a map overlay showing where important events occurred in Hyrule's ancient history. Fact 23. Addison's sign puzzles have a meta joke Nintendo is playing. Addison, the guy holding up Hudson construction signs across Hyrule, seems like a simple recurring puzzle, but there's a meta joke Nintendo is playing. Addison represents game developers holding up ambitious projects through crunch and overwork, desperately needing support but still smiling through the struggle. His dialogue hints at this, talking about how long he's been holding signs, how much his arms hurt, and how he hopes someone will eventually notice his effort. It's Nintendo's acknowledgement of game development challenges disguised as a silly recurring character. The joke becomes darker when you realize Addison never stops. He just moves to the next sign, forever working, forever needing support. Fact 24. The Sky Islands were once connected. Environmental storytelling reveals that the Sky Islands weren't always isolated. Ancient Zonai architecture shows connection points where bridges or structures once linked islands together. The upheaval that brought the islands back to the sky broke these connections, scattering what was once a unified sky civilization across isolated chunks. This explains why some sky islands have half buildings or structures that clearly continue onto other islands. They were once whole cities or temples that got torn apart. You're exploring ruins of ruins, fragments of a civilization that was already ancient when it fell and has now been shattered further by time and cataclysm. Fact 25. Master Koga has been searching for you. Master Koga's appearances in the depths aren't random encounters. He's actively hunting Link, tracking your movements through Yiga intelligence networks and setting ambushes. His dialogue changes based on what you've accomplished, and he gets progressively more frustrated and desperate as you thwart his plans repeatedly. But the detail most players miss, if you ignore Yiga content and focus only on the main quest, Koga's dialogue reflects this. He'll mock you for avoiding him, suggesting he's not worth your time. If you systematically hunt down Yiga bases before confronting him, he becomes paranoid and defensive. The game tracks your interaction with Yiga content and adjusts Koga's personality accordingly. Fact 26. There are references to every previous Zelda game. Tears of the Kingdom contains Easter eggs and references to every mainline Zelda game from the original NES title to Skyward Sword. These range from obvious like location names matching previous games to obscure like specific NPC dialogue quoting lines from Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. The deepest cut, the game's entire structure references the Zelda timeline split theories fans debated for decades.
Tears of the Kingdom serves as a soft reboot that acknowledges multiple timeline branches while creating a new continuity that doesn't contradict previous games. It's Nintendo's way of saying all the games happened, and also, here's a new beginning. The timeline complexity fans obsessed over is both honored and transcended simultaneously. Fact 27. The game keeps playing after Ganondorf. This is the fact that changes everything. TOTK doesn't end when you beat Ganondorf. Unlike many games that stop after the final boss, TOTK returns you right before the final fight, but the game knows you've completed the story. NPCs have new dialogue acknowledging you've saved Hyrule. New side quests unlock, secret content that was inaccessible before the ending becomes available. More importantly, the post-game is when TOTK's true challenges emerge. Harder enemy variants spawn, secret bosses become accessible, and the game expects you to tackle content that was impossible before endgame equipment and knowledge. Tears of the Kingdom's real game begins after the credits roll, with dozens of hours of post-game content designed for players who've mastered every system. Most players beat Ganondorf, watch the ending, and think they're done. They've actually just unlocked the real endgame. Conclusion: the depth you haven't seen. These 26 facts barely scratch the surface of Tears of the Kingdom's hidden depths. This is a game designed for multiple playthroughs, exhaustive exploration, and community knowledge sharing. Nintendo packed Tears of the Kingdom with so many secrets, hidden mechanics, and obscure details that discovering everything requires hundreds of hours and collective community effort. The next time you boot up Tears of the Kingdom, remember, you probably haven't seen half of what the game offers. Those systems you thought you understood have hidden depths. Those areas you thought you'd fully explored have secrets you missed. That ending you reached isn't the end of the content. Tears of the Kingdom rewards curiosity, experimentation, and persistence with discoveries that change how you see the entire game. Now, get out there and find the secrets we haven't even discovered yet.